ArtPrize has its finalists. Last year, the critics didn't hold back.
I think that they could do better.
I think the painting is a bit schlocky, honestly, and I just walked right past it in the gallery to better stuff.
It was as if a nightmare was coming to life for me. This to me is a nightmare.
Sorry.
And now it's time to ask ourselves once again,
WTF. Why is this a finalist? So why is this a finalist? That's the question you have to answer when you decide what to vote for. Tonight, the art critics will be blunt as they answer that question, giving you their honest opinions. Hi, everybody. I'm Marley Ginter, and welcome to Why These Finalists, presented commercial-free tonight from the ArtPrize Hub. So here's a look at the 38 finalists at ArtPrize 9. For the first time this year, you can vote on both the public and juried finalists. Voting is open until Thursday night. So tonight, we'll focus on the two-dimensional and installation finalists. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow night to discuss the 3D and time-based finalists. And you can also join the conversation by using hashtag ArtPrizeWTF. Again, that's why these finalists. You can also watch a live stream with Spanish subtitles of both shows on woodtv.com. Okay, let's get started. Our moderator for tonight is ArtPrize Director of Exhibitions, Kevin Beist. And now let's introduce tonight's critics. We do have Jim Deschant, the Dean of Arts and Humanities at Point Loma Nazarene University in San Diego. Jim, thank you for being with us tonight. Belinda Tate is from right here in West Michigan. She's the Executive Director of Kalamazoo Institute of Art. And Lizzie Whittington, she's the Visual Arts Curator at South by Southwest. Thank you all for being with us tonight. And we do have an awesome, wonderful live studio audience as well. We appreciate you guys coming down. And just to give you a little warning, we are going to keep things moving along tonight. We want to try to get through as many entries as possible. So we'll start with the two-dimensional category. Here are the public vote finalists. More than 300,000 votes were cast in round one voting this year. That's awesome. The 2D list includes two artists, Annie Crowder and Fritz Hodenbanger, who have been finalists before at ArtPrize, so you probably recognize those names. And here are the 2D juried award finalists selected by Miranda Lash, Curator of Contemporary Arts at the Speed Art Museum in Louisville. First up is 820 Ebony Jet by Barbara Courant. This piece made it on the juried shortlist and is on display at the Ruse Escape Rooms. All right, Kevin, what can you tell us about this piece?
So this is a series of photographs of the Johnson Publishing Company offices in Chicago after all of the workers moved out. So this is the sort of legendary publishing company that published Ebony and Jet magazines. And this was their offices in their heyday. You know, what kind of series of photographs with no people, what kind of stories can these photos tell?
I thought this was a really wonderful series of photographs. For decades, Johnson Publishing Company really represented the hopes and dreams of many African Americans. So it was a really interesting depiction of a dream deferred. And I thought the photographer did a really great job of bringing the right sensibility and reverence for this space to make these empty rooms emotionally relevant.
Yeah. It's sad, but they're really funky. It's like some crazy wallpaper.
Absolutely.
Lizzie, what did you think?
I mean, I really liked it. I loved seeing kind of the juxtapose of the very decadent, vibrant. You could still see the peak in there, and then with the kind of vacant, it's what it is now to what it was before. And you could really see that in the photography.
Jim, would this make your list if you were the 2D juror?
I think so. It's juxtaposed in an interesting context, a very traditional building. It has a craftsman look inside, so even the context of where it's hung, it works well. And the conversation between the pieces and the architecture itself, I think, is pretty fun.
Great.
It's almost one of those pieces that you have that full feeling, and then you have almost that empty feeling, too. Pretty much brings you full circle. Well, next up, A. Lincoln. This Richard Schlatter piece is a public vote finalist and is at the Amway Grand Plaza. All right, Kevin.
Okay, this is in the lobby of your hotel, so I know that's one of the first things you saw when you guys arrived yesterday. And people are just mobbing this thing. The artist has a storied career as a designer. He's done award-winning ad campaigns. That got me thinking about art and design. They're very similar, but of course, the difference is that design is trying to solve a problem, right? An ad campaign tries to compel people to a certain action to buy some soap. In this case, the action seems to be, this thing is designed to get votes. What do you guys think? Is this thing?
I think that's true.
Is it successful design? Is it successful art? Is there a difference?
I think this piece is worth its weight in copper. It works as a design, but it leaves a lot to be desired as a portrait. I was, wondering, am I looking at the young, optimistic or idealistic Abe Lincoln, or am I looking at the Abe Lincoln with the weight of the Civil War chiseled in his face? So there's so much that an Abe Lincoln portrait could offer,
right.
And this left a lot to be desired.
Yeah. Jim?
Well, size, it's impressive because of that, and the artist is out there with a top hat, and so he's selling it a bit like a car salesman.
Had all the stats.
And he's handing out pennies.
Yeah.
The kid, so it's a formula that works, right? You make something out of little things and make a big version of it. So and that seems to be one of the ArtPrize formulas.
Yeah.
And so this artist has captured it and he's running with it, and you can't fault him for that. I would say art and design are both failing in this instance.
Okay. All right. Lizzie, tell me about the stats real quick before we move on.
I mean, just kind of like you said, the formula, but you kind of know what went into it, the hours, how many pennies, what he did, that process, so you can see how it all, you can envision how he put it all together and the time it took and all that stuff, so it's kind of really relatable and easy. It's easy to get. There's not a whole lot of, what's the meaning behind this? Like you said, it's kind of missing some of that. There's more to be desired from it.
Sure. Anything else before we move on?
Folks love it. I
Love
talk
it.
to many
There's
people in the
always
lobby,
a lot.
and they can't give me enough of it. And
They do.
Yeah, it's fun to debate.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just glad I didn't have to carry that one. All right, the next juried shortlist piece is El Sueño Americano, The American Dream. This piece is by Tom Kiefer, and it's on display at DeVos Place. Kevin?
So this is a series of photographs. Again, these are photographs that tell stories without showing people, for the most part. These are photographs of objects that were detained from immigrants at a border security prison. We spent a lot of time with this piece today. It's huge. There's a lot of photos in this series. Tell me what you were thinking as you looked over these objects.
Yeah, it's overwhelming and saddening, the dehumanization of folks crossing the border. It's hard to look at. And those objects belong to folks, and it's something you can't get away from. However, as the objects are laid down in very design-like formulas, you can lose some of that in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Jim on this. I think it was so kind of stylized, like the pieces, that it lost some of the meaning. Where like in the descriptions, it talks about how he found them in bags and he took them out. It would kind of have been nice to see some of that raw, how they were found, and that's really like the dehumanizing part. Yeah. Because it's almost like, I like Instagram pretty. Like if someone just there laying it out, taking,
Yeah. Belinda, did that arrangement affect your reading of the documentation of these objects?
Yes. I think the artist lost a level of story in this organized arrangement, but the artist also left me asking more questions, which in a way was good. So why are family portraits taken away from people? Why are their Bibles taken away? I wanted to know more about the rules and what was involved, and some of it really seemed cruel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about the power of images and objects, right?
Absolutely.
That's what art's about.
And the text is helpful that it has there, but I wish it wasn't on top of the artwork.
Yeah.
So there's a problem in how that's presented, because it is the repetition of how these objects are taken away from folks is a great story.
Right.
And complements it.
Got to move on, but that's a lot to talk about there.
It was nice. I had a chance to interview this artist actually on Channel 8, and it is touching to hear him talk about what prompted him to take those pictures. Well, next is Crowns of Courage. Now, this piece by Amanda Gilbert, David Burgess, and Stephen Stone is at DeVos Place. Kevin?
So these are, again, a series of photographs, and but a public vote pick this time, also at DeVos Place. These are chemotherapy patients who have lost their hair, and they have these henna tattoos placed onto their heads and their arms and other parts of their bodies. Really, really touching and kind of difficult subject matter. What did you guys think of this?
Well, art can certainly document life, and I think this piece is about, far more than these crisp photographs. It's really about a community healing project. It's about the internal journey that these women are taking as they are undergoing this cancer treatment process. And it's also about empowering them to have a different conversation with the rest of the world about who they are and what they're going through and the healing process. So I like the way that it changes the conversation, if you will, and the way that it really is creating community in a very positive way.
Yeah, I think this is a good example of how art can bring a community together to help heal it. I mean, talking to Belinda talked to some of the artists, and it's really about the women, kind of their transformation and their community of like their family and all that stuff. So I think it's a great example of how art can bring it together and heal.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave that one there and keep going, but that's powerful work as well.
Now let's move on to another juried shortlist pick. Heroes series by Michael Hyacinth is at Veterans Memorial Park.
So back to design. This is using design in a very different way. You guys, I think, met today Michael Hyacinth, who's been doing this project for a while, where he pairs designers, professional designers, with wounded veterans, and they create T-shirts and other paraphernalia, and that they sell. And it's a sort of nationwide nonprofit. Tell me your impressions of this environment.
Yeah, I think this is where it's done well, because you have the story with the individual, and that individual doesn't necessarily have the skill set to take it to the next level, but by teaming them up with designers, you can really put something special together. So the shirts and the prints that we saw there today, I thought were incredibly meaningful, because these are folks that are trained at bringing these sort of stories to life. So this is a circumstance where I think it worked well.
I thought it was a heartfelt project. It was very authentic and touching. I also just liked the way it was able to connect the veterans community to the community at large. I really enjoyed it.
Lizzie, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it and thought it was done well, and I think it's doing a great service.
I will say it's confusing. It looks like an installation when you come in, but it's actually a 2D entry.
Right.
So it could be read a number of different ways. It looked like a merch store. So there's some confusion as you walk through it, but end result was positive.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there were a couple pieces too that a lot of the art critics had said almost merged into different categories.
Yeah, the categories are an imperfect vessel, right? Some of these projects really spill over into other things, which is great.
Well, and now let's move on to Life, Death, and Transformation by Fritz Hodenreger. Now, this public vote finalist is at Bob, and this is the third time that he has been a finalist with ArtPrize, so pretty impressive.
Yeah, so this is, he's kind of dipping into a long tradition in Western painting of looking at natural subjects and asking us to contemplate mortality. I think about romantic painting and other things. How does this hold up? Does he hold his own in those hallowed halls?
Yeah, it's interesting. When you buy a used car, sometimes they say it's a 5-foot car or a 20-foot car. And what that means is when you get 5 feet away, you can start to see those imperfections. And when you're 20 feet away, it looks great. This is a 20-foot painting. You know, you have to be a certain distance away for it to work well.
I think that the painting certainly demonstrates some competency on the part of the artist, but it doesn't really add a lot to this ongoing conversation about life, death, transformation, mortality, etc. This is a subject matter that has been addressed over and over again, and for me, the painting falls short in terms of adding to that conversation.
Lizzie?
Yeah, it's nice.
It is at a well-known establishment for beer drinking, if I'm not correct.
The Bob,
And I would imagine there are beer goggles involved sometimes with voting. and I think that contributes sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on. We'll leave it there.
Right.
I don't want to go any further down that.
Mom always said honesty is the best policy, right? Well, next up, Sophia draws every day. Years 2, 3, and 4 made the juried shortlist. Sophia Ramirez Hernandez's entry is up at Cultura Collective at Rumsey Street. Kevin.
Okay, you mentioned earlier that there's this sort of trope within ArtPrize of big things made of little things, and people have been noticing it for years. The other thing is, how long did that take you? And so a big thing that happens at ArtPrize, obviously, is that the crowds are really interested in the investment of time. This is a really interesting artwork because it takes that idea, but from kind of a different angle, where she's presenting this years-long drawing practice as almost something sort of repetitive or meditative or endurance-based. Mm-hmm. But the resulting drawings, of course, are very, very small. What did you guys think about this?
I really enjoy this piece. I thought it was kind of an intimate, lighthearted look at this woman's life. And so I really enjoyed it. And it was just a little snapshot of her day.
Yeah. What did you think, Linda?
I think clearly she doesn't take herself too seriously, and that was quite enjoyable to me. And it was just a real authentic look into her personality. So for me, it was sort of old school in a way. Like, you know, this is the way you used to get to know your classmates
right.
in school, by little conversations, little, you know, snippets, little doodles and that sort of thing. So, you know, I thought if I ever met her, I would really know her through these drawings.
Yeah. Jim?
It's nice that there's a linear path to it, so you can see it day by day. Ideas build upon one another, but then there's also a series of just blank days where,
right.
you know, life got the best of her and she couldn't do much else.
Yeah.
I think the negative on the other side is it can be read as a greeting card, you know, a simplistic illustration because of the size and format, but I think she overcomes that with the quirkiness.
Cool.
Yeah, when you draw those blank days, she did tell me that it was discipline to have to do all of these drawings. I mean, it's quite a bit. And now this is Team Spirit by Annie Crowder. This piece is a public vote finalist and is at the Ford Presidential Museum. And this is also her third time as a finalist at ArtPrize. Another impressive artist.
Yeah. Back to like dipping your toe in the history of Western painting, the horse as a subject matter really goes deep, deep, deep. So how do you think Annie did? Jim, give me your take.
What I don't understand about Team Spirit is like these horses are shackled to one another, have blinders on, they can't see each other, and yet they're functioning as a team. And I thought, you know, and then it's in this black context, I thought it could be called Trump Team or Trump Spirit, sort of like forcing people one direction, and then it would be something altogether different.
Yeah. Belinda? The horses?
You want me to follow that?
What do you got?
Well, you know, horses in the wild can and do create community. So for me, that would have made a much more interesting painting. I think people like depictions of horses. So that's probably why this is a finalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a very nice painting. It's very big. It's in a popular location. I think she did a nice job, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have me asking too many more questions.
Sure. Yeah. Stays on the surface a little bit.
Absolutely. I think when you come back to a work of art and it says the same things over and over, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You want to be able to ask more questions and dig deeper.
Yeah.
Another public vote finalist, 9/11 by Mur Kachaturian, is also at the Ford Presidential Museum.
Okay, so same gallery, same museum. 9/11, obviously, very, very sensitive subject matter. You know, art can approach tragedy, but it has to do so carefully, I would say. Does this work succeed? And were you able to talk to the artist when he's there? I know he's been there a lot of the time.
I did listen to the artist for a short period of time, and his passion for the subject matter clearly comes through. However, I think this artist spent too much time focusing on the facts. So I felt like I had just seen an illustration of a Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
He uses this kind of smoky aesthetic that I think he could take further to sort of hide and reveal or create this language of coding and decoding, so we as the viewer can enter, exit, and return and learn more each time. And for me, that's where it fell a little short.
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah, similar. It's a bit like chalk on a black chalkboard, and there's a story moving from right to left, and I can feel the emotional connection, and it's so hard because we don't want to forget, and it's such a powerful scar on sort of our history, and there's redemption in it as well, but I don't think it's doing the event justice in that way, even though I believe the intent is 100% pure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a passion for us, and he definitely said that he went to the memorial and, had an experience there, and I think that kind of comes through, but again, it does feel, just with all the little tidbits, a little bit forced of a story that's leading you through, instead of just kind of more there.
And as a public vote finalist, so no surprise though that it would tug on people's heartstrings.
Yeah, for sure.
That topic. Well, next up we have Virtue, Virtue, Vertu by Hip Kiss, and this piece by Alpha and Chris Mason is a juried shortlist pick and is on display at GRCC Collins Art Gallery.
Okay, in a statement about the work that the artists wrote, they talk about the columns that are these drawings are kind of like these long, tall drawings, and the column being kind of a masculine form, but then the sort of ornamental style of this abstract drawing that they've perfected as being a bit more feminine. Do you buy that, or do you think that's just sort of artist statement speak? What did you think?
Yeah, well, if you want to, they're giant phalluses, I suppose, if you want to say that. I mean, they are long, and the feminine is sort of the detail. I wish I hadn't heard that.
I'm sorry. Erase that.
It totally colors it, and in a way ruins my engagement with it, because we spent a lot of time with this piece, because there's so much detail, and there's so much fun as you delve into these smaller spheres, but the sort of the initial intro, I think it hampers you. You trip a little into it.
I think these artists are really great in terms of working with pattern, and I really enjoyed spending the time to figure out these layers of story that were there, and like Jim, I wish I hadn't had that explanation, because I think that there's so much more to the piece than what they could really capture in a paragraph.
Lizzie, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoy the piece, like they said, the layers, kind of exploring those and finding those. The binder clips that they were attached to the wall was a little bit distracting for me. It would have been nice if they were just not attached with binder clips.
Sure.
Well, that is actually it for the 2D category. Completely enjoyed all of that, but we want to move on to the installation category. All of the pieces you are about to see are entries that are dependent on the site in which they are installed. So here are the public vote finalists for the installation category. It includes Enmesh, which is one of just 2 entries that is both a public and juried finalist this year. So here are the juried finalists, picked by juror Anila Kayam Aga, the 2014 winner of ArtPrize, for her entry, Intersections, a gorgeous piece. Okay, so first up, for the installation category, we have a public vote finalist. Decadence Sugar Mural is by Shelley Miller and is on display at the Grand Rapids Public Museum.
Okay, so Shelley Miller is an artist who is taking this sort of paste-up graffiti form, which normally involves sticking tiles onto walls, but she's done it with sugar instead. She's also thinking a bit about the history of sugar, the dark side of sugar, a history of colonialism, slavery, which is depicted in the image of this ship. But it's also it's pretty and it's fun. Did you feel that mix of fun and sinister happening at the same time?
No. I'm confused and I'm frustrated when I walked away from it, because I want more. I love the aspect that it looks like frosting, but then it's not enough frosting. I love that the insects and animals are all over it, eating it up. But then there's this, the ships are in the middle, and it just doesn't jive with the overall shape. Is it a float? Is it Cinderella's carriage? What is it? I can't quite figure it out. So it left me perplexed.
Okay. Belinda?
The artist is clearly taking on a huge, complex subject, and you know, the history of sugar internationally is tragic. And she really doesn't do a good job of bringing the complexity, the dehumanizing nature of this industry, et cetera, to the forefront. So, you know, I like the subject matter, but the artist still left a lot to be desired. I did think it was somewhat intriguing that she would do this sugar construction outdoors, because it was really fascinating to actually watch the bees and the ants devour it, and also to see the photographs of how the piece changed over time.
Indeed. Final thoughts?
Yeah, why? I just didn't, why? It was very hard. The complexity didn't come through, and I just didn't understand. I kind of walked away saying, why is this a finalist?
Sure.
Wanted more, and then why? So moving on to a juried shortlist pick. This is Society of 23's Locker Room Dressing Room by Jeffrey Augustine Sanko, and it's up at the City Water Building. You can tell that we've got some of his supporters in the crowd tonight.
All right, so Sanko makes an environment for us to spend some time in and wander around and read a few things and look at details. And it's packed with symbols, and everything from American flags to gay pride flags to KKK hoods. There's a lot going on and a lot to unpack. We only have 2 minutes. Lizzie, what was your feelings spending some time in this space?
I was overwhelmed, but like visually overwhelmed, and I think it was like in a good way, because there was a lot going on and a lot of traditional symbols that he put a spin on with the KKK, but it was rainbow supporting. There was a lot of symbols going through, and I think it's a piece that you can walk away from and come back and see something new and see something you didn't quite get before. And so that's kind of why I enjoyed it and why I liked it, because I don't know if I left there seeing everything and all the meanings and all the layers that it had to offer. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I enjoyed it and liked it, because I kept finding new things that I didn't see before.
Belinda, did you find that density was a part of it as well?
Certainly, but you know, just for clarity, the KKK generally doesn't wear the gay pride colors.
Yes,
so.
got it, yes.
Is that right?
Okay.
Sort of a blend, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I thought it was an interesting contrast and conflict set up between glamour and violence, and who has the right to do what. And just the artist took a real humorous approach to a very serious subject matter, and I think really handled kind of all of these elements well within the context of a really ambitious goal.
Mm-hmm. Jim?
I wasn't ready for it when I went in. It shocked me, and I loved it. I think the atmosphere, the sports atmosphere that was set up like a locker room was amazing. But then just on the other side, sort of the RuPaul-like makeup counter, preparing with these letters that just spoke of these injustices. It had the humor, but it was also terribly tragic.
Great.
And next is Oil and Water by Ryan Spencer Reed. This public vote finalist is in the Grand River.
So this is a photo that Ryan Spencer Reed took at the Standing Rock protests, a little while ago. But it's presented in a very unusual way for a photograph. It's laying on the surface of the water. What did you think about that presentation? How does that change or charge up this photo?
Bigger is better, right? You make a big photograph. Photography is so hard because it's so accessible to all of us. We all have Instagram accounts, we post images, and so photographers have an incredible challenge to do something meaningful. So by blowing something up, having it on the river is a spectacle in itself, and I'm not surprised it's one of the big vote getters. But the way the water moved over it, I have to say that is one of the more endearing aspects of it.
Belinda, what did you think about that relationship between the subject and the form, how it's presented, what it's depicting?
Well, like Jim, I liked the way the piece interacted with the river itself. That was very, very well done. I thought the use of the teepee in the photograph was interesting, and it confused me in a way because he was addressing a very serious environmental matter, one that's important to all of us as Americans. It's just so happened that Native Americans are the ones standing in the gap for us to give the rest of us more time to decide and act and learn. So, I think there were aspects of the photograph itself that could have been improved, particularly for a photograph that size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to move it along, but a lot to think about there.
Well, another piece in the Grand River as well, SOS, Safety Orange Swimmers. And this piece by A&J Art and Design is also a public vote finalist.
Yeah, so the other big installation in the river are these orange men on inner tubes. Another really pressing issue. These artists are thinking a lot about the migrant crisis, particularly in Europe, but that certainly is a sort of global crisis of immigration. Did it read that way to you? Did it feel urgent and tragic, or did it feel fun and light? Let's start with you, Lizzie.
I think it did. I just don't think it went far enough. Like it's so close, but I mean, when we were talking about it, we were seeing it, they're almost floating there, like almost in a restful, peaceful way. And I think there's so much more that could have been conveyed in their emotion and in that thing of, the immigrants. It's such it's so like tragic, and it's a hard thing to come through and to such a journey to commit that I think it just kind of misses the mark a little bit because they seem very peaceful and resting, and they're just floating there.
It's like they're saying, help me be more effective as an artwork. Please. It has that sort of stoic, and so, it's frustrating. It's something that's halfway there.
Okay. Belinda, halfway, all the way?
I liked the concept, but I agree. This is a very ambitious subject matter, so there are a lot of directions the artists could have gone with this if they had just pushed a little further.
Yeah. We'll end there.
Another piece leaving our critics saying more, more, more. Well, let's take another look at a juried shortlist pick. Canceled Edition is by Pippin Frisbee Calder and is at the UICA.
Yeah, so here we have another installation addressing environmental catastrophe. And this also hits on another sort of trope of ArtPrize. People love the handout, right? And normally handouts are the little vote for me card with the image and the number and all that. But Pippin has done something different, and she's asking people to give $3, and then they can take a hand-printed woodcut of a woodpecker, but in so doing, they're taking part in a sort of simulated extinction. What did you think about that sort of desire for the object drawn into the extinction event? Did this work for you, Belinda?
I like this piece. I think it forces us to be accountable about what we give and what we take and why. I think in this society today, there's a lot of excess. So this piece forces you to pause and think, well, do you really want to fill out a license to take a bird? Do you need the bird? Does someone else need the bird? Mm-hmm. And then how much are you willing to give for the bird? There's a suggested donation. You know that maybe others might not have the $3. Do you give $6? So, she's adding a level of complexity to the piece by the sheer nature of this exchange.
Yeah.
I like that she personalized it at the end. You also have to leave a statement on what you're losing. And it was amazing what people wrote. Their integrity, freedom, loved ones. It was incredibly powerful. So taking an issue, but also then personalizing it, makes it much more powerful for the viewer.
Lizzie?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the licensing and reading those things. I think that was kind of like a powerful piece, the addition to the piece. I agree. I really enjoyed this piece, and I liked how it made the subject matter easily to digest. And you could see how you taking something would leave it blank and empty, and how she said one day she was completely out, so the whole room was empty. And then that's kind of powerful too, to come in and see just an empty space of what was there, what are we missing? We'll never have that again. And I think that too is powerful.
Just the empty nails, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was nice to see too another piece where we, the viewers, can get involved with the piece as well. It's always nice. All right, we're going to move on to Bushcraft Radical Stimulus. This piece by Jessica Wildman is a juried shortlist pick, and it's on display at the Grand Rapids Art Museum.
Okay, so this is another piece that references environmental degradation and exploitation of species. Maybe not quite as obviously as Pippin's piece, but this sort of net fence form made of gold and gold leaf thread, as well as like copper-plated sticks, actually references a certain kind of net that was used in fishing in the Great Lakes hundreds of years ago, and nearly fished a lot of fisheries to extinction. So she's sort of mixing that sort of dark environmental legacy also with something really beautiful. Did that come through in the work?
I think it came through. I mean, it looks like a volleyball net, you know, as you walk in, so it's a little disorienting, but I think it works. You know, I like the installation overall. I'm disappointed I can't enter into it. It's blocked off, so it loses some of that effect. But the basic materials, I mean, it was nice to see something a bit more subdued and not over the top, so I enjoyed the installation.
Linda?
I enjoy the installation. All four sides of the installation don't have an equal impact. And I think she could have taken the conversation a step further in that, you know, these kinds of things also get us into an economic trap. So we decide not to make the best decision relative to the environment because we're trapped in a financial cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got to move to the next one to get them all in.
And we want to pay close attention to this one, actually. This is our only entry tonight that has made it onto the juried shortlist and the public vote. And Mesh is by Leroy DeRubertis, and you can see it at the Grand Rapids Art Museum.
Another installation involving wire, also at Grand Rapids Art Museum. It's the kind of their little wire theme this year, but used in a very different way. Lizzie, let's start with you. What did you think about this?
I really enjoyed this piece at first. Like when you first kind of glance at it and go through it, you know, it seems kind of happy, you know, bended wire. And then the more you kind of look at the different, all three walls, you kind of see the faces are a little bit sad, little darker, and you kind of get that deeper meaning. So I kind of enjoyed it.
Let's talk about drawing. She's sort of drawing with wire, right? Do you think it has a sort of conversation with drawing?
Yeah, it's like a one-line drawing, you know, where you can't pick up the pencil. And so in that way, it leads to this sort of disfigurement and this sort of playfulness, which is very Calder or Picasso-like. And I think that's unfortunately what we're reminded of. You know, when your work references someone like that, that's problematic overall. It may sway someone to like it, but they already have a predetermination to like work by that artist.
Did you get that read from it, Belinda?
Well, you know,
Did you get
for
the
me,
Calder
it was
reference?
interesting, not until I read the label, but it was interesting to watch the piece because it felt like, you know, watching a crowd in the train station or whatever. It's like you know, when you see the whole, it's very interesting. Sometimes when you drill down and look at the individual faces, they may or may not be as interesting. But, you know, overall, just the way the piece had a kind of subtle movement to it and the way it cast these shadows on the wall, it did have, you know, many different layers, which, you know, is why it's a finalist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the public's responding for sure.
And next up is Two-Way Protocols by Zane Miller. This piece has made the juried shortlist, and you can see this one at the Fed Galleries.
Yeah, so really simple materials here. Zane has kind of controlled the lighting of a space. He's hung these two fiberglass cubes. They have some sort of lighting triggers in them and two-way mirrors. So materially, it's pretty straightforward, but there's a lot going on with looking and being looked at. Did you guys go in as a group? Were you looking at each other, looking at yourselves? How did you like this environment? Lizzie, let's start with you.
I mean, for me, this was probably one of my favorite pieces that we saw today. I really liked it. You know, it's very interesting when you're outside of the box looking in. You can kind of see everything and how everything's engaging with it, see who's on the inside, how they're acting. And then when you get inside the piece, it's kind of like you put yourself in a box. You can't necessarily see out very well. The light's changing and dimming, but if you're still, then it slowly dims. And so I really enjoyed this piece and the interactive part of it. And just kind of seeing how, like, when you're still, it slows down with you, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
This is also one of my favorite pieces. I really like simplicity, and this was a very powerful haiku. It made a lot of really profound statements with a minimal amount of effort, and I thought for that it was a brilliant piece.
Yeah.
Maybe the hardest to get to. You have to circle around like a seashell to get into the middle of the galleries to actually find it. It speaks to that, hey, museums, are they accessible? Are they not accessible? It's interesting that it's a critic's choice and not a public choice. So I think that it being hidden in there, also being minimal and not having a lot and requiring sort of you to take part of it, sort of speak to this museum-public divide that we have.
Yeah, for sure.
I know my kids had a lot of fun being able to interact with this piece, and a lot of people out there enjoying this one. And our last piece for the first night of Why These Finalists, Autism, A Visual Journey, is a public vote finalist. And Vincenti, Michael Ming's piece, is up at the City Water Building.
So here we have another work with many, many, many little images, and some of these are a little bit more 3D in nature, and not just collages, but also sort of little objects, and dealing with a difficult and particular subject matter. How did you think? What did you feel walking around here reading the wall text?
Wow, I felt a lot of different things going through it. So there's an aspect of it's endearing, this creativity that you can have on a small daily level. And as you go around, you see these things that are likely floating around this artist's house or their studio. And then towards the end, you get to these sex acts that are sort of featured on several of them, which blew me away in terms of what on earth is going on here. So it just seemed like an incredibly complicated sort of story that I didn't have access to.
Belinda, did you feel like it gave you a bit of access into that world, into this issue about autism, or was that not really coming through?
I don't feel like it gave me sort of an entree into that world, but I did feel the presence of someone craving creativity. And so it seemed that making these daily collages was, a way of survival for someone who may have been living in some difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Lizzie, do you have a very quick response? We're almost out of time.
I kind of feel like this is the aftermath of art therapy, and this was her therapy to get through her day.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
And that is it. We are all out of time. That's a wrap. Enjoyed all of your responses to these pieces. We'll be back tomorrow night, though, here on Wood TV at 7 for round 2 of Why These Finalists. We'll discuss the finalists in the 3D and time-based categories, and then join us Friday night at 7:30. There will be $500,000 up for grabs at the ArtPrize Awards. Our coverage starts at 7 o'clock. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. A lot of fun. We'll see you tonight at 10 and 11.